Hello, how are you doing? I am Jacqueline. I am loving that you are watching my video. I hope you have a chance to continue watching and checking out what I have for today and what I've shared in the past and what I have in the future for you. It's so important to keep this conversation going and exploring so much about dating, relationships, and just being open to what's possible. So today's topic is going to be about social media when it comes to dating. This is something I actually haven't talked about recently, but I do think is so important. I notice that people tend to want to learn too much about somebody before they go out with them, and they end up maybe not quite getting all the accurate information. So it's important to know how well you want to know somebody before you let them tell the story themselves. What that means is if you jump right in because you've got their first and last name, you search all the social media, you look up what they've said on their accounts, you try to figure out all these puzzle pieces about them before you talk to them, you can often get caught in a presumptuous thought process. I remember a few years ago, I had this really great guy. He just so badly wanted to be in a relationship. And so when he hired my agency, he told me about a gal he had been dating pretty casually previous to hiring me, but he had made a social media post that they were in a relationship and that they were a couple. And then it didn't really go anywhere. And so when he took that down and said that he was no longer in this relationship, I had a lady that I wanted to introduce him to. Well, she immediately went to his social media page, saw that he had had a recent breakup, and she wasn't interested in going out with him. Yet she didn't know the story that they didn't actually go out. It was not really a relationship. He was just so focused on trying to make it something it wasn't really. And so she kind of jumped the gun, but he also did in the other relationship. And had they talked about it, they might have had a different perspective on where to go with this dating possibility. So it's just something to keep in mind that we don't always know the story behind what people post. And it's also really important to make sure that you, yes, know who the person is, but you don't really get to know who's in the pictures with them. And bottom line is, you could find the love of your life tomorrow, and you had a whole life today and the days before. So we don't really get to decide a whole lot about what our future partner does before they get to know us. Yes, there are certain levels of standard in dating. You don't want to jump into a relationship the day after they left somebody else, but sometimes relationships aren't really what they look like. So I want you to think about how you want to engage in your outside creativity of looking people up. I personally think that, especially as a matchmaker, I check a lot of things to make sure somebody is legit and who they are, what they say they are saying, but it still takes you getting to know them as a person. Your safety is crucial. I do hear a lot of married people are on dating apps. I have never had clients, obviously, on that for that reason, but they have told me that they have met many married or in relationship people. So you do have to follow your gut, you have to follow your instincts, but be careful to let a few little posts that might have even been forgotten on a social media post define the future opportunity with somebody new. Or better yet, if you can't handle checking it out and you have to go check some things out, just ask the question, ask for more specifics and more details. This is very, very important. Your social presence makes a difference. I mean, it's the same thing when you're looking for a job. Your recruiter is going to look you up. So you should also probably take a double check on what is public on your social media posts to make sure that somebody isn't going to be a little confused if they see, like, there's a picture of you with a wedding ring on, and maybe it was a picture you took when you were married, but you are no longer married, but yet the wedding ring says that that was a picture when you were married. So you want to be careful to not like crop somebody's face out and then use like a married picture with your dating pictures. So there's just certain things that you have to remember. People are curious, people will look. So I hope you don't overly look. I have had a lot of people I've had to work with on getting them to get out of that mindset that they have to look up everybody, especially if I'm doing the introduction. So, what do you think about this? How well do you think you can control your need to pre-check somebody out before you even get a chance to find out if you have a connection with them or not? Or if you do, are you willing to ask questions and be open to their answers? People really like to tell their own stories to future dates, and they really like to actually feel like you want to know them as a person, not just what their online persona is. So let me know what you think about that and what you would do when it comes to meeting somebody new that you are curious about what their social media says. All right, like, comment, subscribe, and engage in our conversation. This helps me come up with fabulous topics to share with you. I look forward to continuing our conversation.